Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Creators Block podcast. And if you're new, welcome. This podcast is about speaking to creatives of all shapes and sizes. So if you haven't listened to other episodes, other perspectives, I essentially have creatives come on and essentially tell their story. Very interesting to hear different perspectives. But on this episode, we have a very, very special guest. Her name is Monica Adams. She's such an awesome person, and it was a pleasure sitting down at her studio and speaking to her about, just letting me know what her story is about. And to describe Monica, she is a very insightful and positive person. You just sense a good vibe around her, and even the first time meeting her, I sensed a very good aura around her, and I just knew she meant well, and she's a good person. But to get into specifics, she is an NLP life coach, meditation guide, and a certified vibe creator. We'll get into what an NLP life coach is, so don't worry about that for now. But she's also CEO of several companies, which we'll get into more detail. And one of them is the Radiance Festival, which I actually went to back in August, and it was a very fun experience. It was very different. I've never been to something like that before. But you guys should definitely check that out if you're from New Jersey, because it's the biggest conscious music festival in New Jersey, actually. So that'll be a fun experience for you guys. She's also CEO of the Montclair Zen Studio, which is a meditation studio and a Zen social space. They actually just opened up in Montclair, New Jersey. If you're from Jersey, you'll know what that is. And we go into detail as far as what her plans are and what her vision is for that studio as far as other things. So if you get the chance, you guys should definitely check that out. I'm sure you guys would enjoy it. And if she's not doing any of those, she's probably out roaming around, soaking up nature in some local park or mountain or something. But it was a pleasure speaking to Monica, and it was a fun time. And I hope you guys enjoy this podcast as much as I did. Also, lastly, if you didn't know, there is a timeline in the description. So if you want to go ahead and reach specific topics, you can go ahead and find it. So now here's the podcast. Okay, really quick, right before we start, I actually just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Creators Block. Now, Creators Block is how we get the Creators Block podcast up and running. So what Creators Block is, it's a platform for creatives to come and tell their story. Whether it's through merch, short films, or even this podcast, creatives can come and express themselves and let everyone know what their vision is. And if you want to learn more, visit creatorsblock.com without the K at the end. And here's the podcast. Good. I think I started recording already.
Okay.
So
can we take 3 deep breaths together?
Sure, actually. I've never actually made time for that, to be honest, if I'm being honest with you. But
all morning?
In general, actually.
Oh, okay.
So this feels interesting. Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah, we'll uncross our legs and our arms, close our eyes. We take a deep inhale from our nose. And hold it at the top. And let it out. With a clear intention that today's podcast serve whoever is called to listen to it, and that we be vessels for truth, love, and connection.
That felt nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Actually. So, Monica, I appreciate you coming. Thank you. Or me going here.
Yeah.
Actually.
Welcome.
We're here in your studio that isn't open yet, right?
No, it's totally behind the scenes.
Nice.
The unveiling has not happened yet.
Not yet.
But super soon. Super excited.
I'm very grateful for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm grateful you're here too.
So, Monica, tell us about yourself. Like, what's your full government name?
Full government name is Monica Lizva Adams.
Lizva Adams.
Yeah.
What is that, like, ethnicity-wise?
So, my father's Italian and my mother's Colombian, and I'm
nice.
American.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't have a middle name, so mine is just Elvis Rios.
Well, your first name's super unique.
Yeah, I got lucky with that.
Yeah.
I used to hate it though.
Really?
When I was a kid.
What did you want your name to be? Did you have like another name that why didn't you name me Eric or something?
It was so generic. It was like Jason or like Jonathan. I don't know, something like that. But because all my friends had like that name, and several of them had the same type of name, so I felt like left out. I'm just like, damn it. I'm like, I need to like, I wish I had a different name or at least a middle name, like just to switch up whenever I want. But over the years, you grow to like it. Yeah,
for sure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Sure. I am a meditation guide. I am a business owner, Montclair Zen Studio. So it's a meditation center. And way more than that, I really call it a Zen social space.
Ooh.
I love bringing people together. I love talking about consciousness, spirituality, science, mindset, psychology, all of it. So that's about me. And I'm also a transformational coach. So I have private clients that I see, and it's a lot of fun.
What is transformation coach, if you don't mind me asking?
So I studied something called NLP, which basically, to just give like the shortcut version of what that actually is like going into your subconscious mind and being able to rewire some of the stories and beliefs that we have that might not be serving us. And we all have them.
Literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a quote. It was like something like that what you don't solve in your subconscious, you would relive over and over again and think it's fate.
Yeah, our subconscious mind is running the show so often, so often. And so what I always say is that, it's been proven now that our fundamental core beliefs are set in stone basically by the time you're 8 years old. So you're a sponge. You're in what's known as a theta state of level of consciousness when you're a kid.
Okay.
So you're like a sponge. So like everything your mom and dad does and like soaking up everything. Like what you watch on TV, like what you just learn about the world. And then that's your blueprint for the rest of your life. And some things can be really helpful and effective for your life. And then some beliefs that we pick up might not be. And so I always say, like the example I give, it's like if you were 7 years old and you were told to pack a bag for the rest of your life, what would you pack? And that's your subconscious mind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And seeing like, is that really effective? Like I would have packed like Power Rangers DVD and like definitely not enough Wonderwear and, the essentials. So yeah. So in like our life, we have these different beliefs that could be serving us and could be not serving us. So I help people take a look at their beliefs and rewire them. And not all of it is from when you're 7. Some of it is like you had this identity when you were 7 or a way that the world worked, quote unquote, when you're 7. And you perpetually found it throughout your adult life. So you're dating different people with the same pattern. Or you're going after the same job and you're like, I don't even like this job. Why am I doing this? Because there's a belief like down deep.
I always say that, like, it's just people always, I mean, when you see like people, if you go on Twitter long enough, you see a bunch of rants, So like, I try not to even like pay attention to that because you could get lost into like that void.
Sure.
And everyone's just like, oh, girls ain't anything, guys ain't shit, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, you gotta change yourself, like that seems like you're going around the same type of people. So I think that's very important. And it's all
internal. Like every fault or every judgment we make about other people, it's like not about them at all. It's what's in you that's making you feel triggered. Like they're triggering you, but they're not triggering you.
And it's interesting how that works because it is like if you want people to treat you better, you literally have to give out so much more for them to like be.
That's a belief.
No, that's true. That is a belief.
It's very incestuous.
So how did you get into this?
Well, I honestly was always into personal development, spirituality, like seriously, like from the get. I remember you're from this area, so you'll appreciate this story, like Clifton Commons.
Yes.
So everyone went to Clifton Commons and for any listeners that aren't familiar with that area, it's like a huge complex where there's a Starbucks, there's a Barnes and Nobles, there's the movie theater, there's the Applebee's. It's like where you go in like your preteen years and like high school a little bit, always packed. And it's always like the movies or like Applebee's. But I was always at Barnes and Nobles, and I always loved like the self-help section and like the new age section.
Really?
Like I lived there. So I was always into it. And then really found more of like, I guess you could say, really found NLP, really found like more of like my teachers and mentors after I followed Tony Robbins and went to one of his seminars. And I was like, what does this man know? Because whatever he knows, I want to know. And I found out a lot of what he does is based in NLP. So then I studied that with 2 amazing teachers, then studied meditation, and like just kept going down the rabbit hole.
Do you remember the first time you actually looked up that in Barnes & Noble? Or you said you've always been?
My friend told me about it. So I went to a Tony Robbins event, and somehow I got on the screen, and like,
oh really?
Yeah, and like an old friend from high school like texted me. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're here too?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we met up on one of the breaks, and we were just talking, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like what he's doing is called NLP," and I had no idea what that is. And even when you look it up, it's Neuro Linguistics Programming Practitioner. It's like what the?
It just sounds a lot more complicated.
It sounds so complicated, and there's certifications you can get in like a weekend. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, like I really want to learn this. So I went to NLP Center of New York, and I studied under Rachel Hott, Stephen Lean, who are amazing people. If you're going to study NLP, I highly recommend them. And studied with them for about 6 months, and you have to have like actual clients. You have to actually work on people. People work on you.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like you actually are learning it. So I loved it, and I became obsessed.
So I guess this is a brief description in your own words.
Mind hacker.
Mind hacker.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, it's like for simple minds like me, you know. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's really crazy because
cool.
How you said you've always been into it, because I feel like more recently that's become more of like a trend and like a movement, and it's nice to see that, because I felt like I've never actually understood why I felt certain ways and why I've always been pretty content with my life. And I've never went through like a dark kind of time and everything. I mean, everyone has like their downfalls and stuff. They're like bad times. So I can't even say that, you know. Mm-hmm. But
well, it's probably coming. So
I've always
you get time.
No, but I think it's perspective though, because I mean, when I was a junior, my apartment burned down.
Wow.
And we literally lost everything.
Wow.
But to me, when that happened, I was just like, oh, good, we could start all over again. Because my family was out. My family was safe. They were all working. And then in my earlier years, when I was like 8 or 9, I was always around like gang violence and stuff. So it's just like, I've always felt like the need, because it was more like my family was like part of it and stuff.
Right.
And my mom would always like be crying or something. So like, I was just like, I mean, I can't be crying. I have to help my mom. So I've always been kind of like there and you know, the positive on it and stuff. And I had never understood why. And I have always just felt like, oh damn, I'm gonna need something bad to happen to me for me to like feel good or something. But it's not true. I think it's just perspective.
I agree. I like that. I like the way you put that. And like, wow, like,
yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone has their downfalls, but like me, my house burning down,
yeah, that's huge.
It's huge for a lot of people, and it scars them for life. But for me, I didn't feel like as intense for it. Like I said, I felt like I could start over. There was a lot of negative energy there, a lot of everything. We weren't going to move out anytime soon. I lived there my whole entire life.
Wow.
So I was there until like 17. And
so it's like you took it as like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I was just like, finally, we could move out, because my parents weren't going to move out. I guess they got comfortable there. And it's crazy. It is crazy how like I thought that way, and I never really thought of it in that way. And people were saying like, "What the hell? Like your house burned down? Like, it's crazy." And I'm just like, I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean, we weren't hurt.
Wow, that's beautiful.
We weren't hurt. We were okay.
Kudos. That's amazing. I love that.
But yeah, like I said, to me, it's not much to think about. It's just.
I agree with you. I think a lot of it is perspective. A lot of the work that I do is just helping people choose a different perspective.
That's so nice that you're into that, because I feel like a lot of people have to learn how to hack their subconscious mind in that sense, because it is difficult when it's engraved in you, like how you said, from an early age.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a choice too. It really is a choice to choose which one. Are you going to be a victim and be like, my house burned down, my life is in shambles, what am I going to do?
Yes,
or like, wow, like we can start over, we can get out of here.
That victim mentality it's so easy to do. And I guess it is difficult to kind of get out of that.
I think it's like part of our society and our culture, and we're addicted to it.
Yeah, it's like that whole misery loves company thing.
Yeah, misery loves company. And there's something about it. Like, we all know what to do. Like, if you're feeling, a lower vibration, like, get up, dance, work out. Like, we can literally, like, drug ourselves through our own body. Like, literally. What a freaking gift. But we won't do it. Call a friend. No. Like, we won't do it. And it's just like, there's a part of us that actually likes it. There's a part of us that's addicted to it. And that to me is like another thing to even look at, because it's like, that's crazy. That's deep. Why are we addicted to our misery?
Yeah, it's like, why would you want to feel that way? Like, when people get into that trend of listening to sad songs a lot, like for a long time.
I actually, I always listen to emo music. I'm not going to lie. Love it.
Really?
I'm not.
But you don't think of it in that way, though. You just like the music.
No, I just love it.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to like when I was like 15 and like, just walking and like hanging. Yeah. So it's like I associate with like good memories. I don't take it to heart.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's good. So what are you currently up to right now? Like as far as current projects?
Yeah. So opening up the Montclair Zen Studio, which is a lifelong dream of mine. I've always, if you talked to me 5 years ago and you were like, Monica,
what do you want to do?
What do you want to do? I would tell you, one day I'm going to have a studio and it's going to be like a little shop. You could buy some like incense and crystals. And then it's just going to be classes and workshops and events. That's what I love to do. Literally was born to do this. So it's finally here and we're sitting in it and it's surreal.
No, it's amazing. I like the place a lot.
Thank you.
It's nice and cozy and it's big enough to like do a bunch of stuff.
Amazing.
I mean, everyone's gonna see like how it is eventually, but
it's awesome that you say that and it's not finished yet. That makes me happy.
I can't wait.
There's some things to do, but like honestly, like there's pretty much what you're seeing is like just fine tuning it. But I'm really excited for these doors to open, to welcome people, and like for people too. Like my biggest thing, it's like it's really about community for me. It's never about me. It's always about we. So I'm also excited for like the friendships that are going to come out of here. Maybe the love relationships, maybe the business opportunities, like the things that will grow from this seed being planted for other people. That fuels me. Yeah. My definition of success is how many connections are made through me.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I've always felt that way too. I've always liked connecting with people, and one of the reasons why I did want to start a podcast, because I feel like it's the only way for me to like. I mean, these are conversations I would normally have with people anyway, and I kind of figured that if we just record it, might as well. But
and it's an excuse sometimes to talk to people you want to talk to.
Exactly.
You're like, hey, want to be on a podcast? And everyone's like, sure, that sounds fun.
So let's talk about the festival, because that's where I met you.
Sure.
It's the Radiance Festival, right?
Yes. Yep. So founded Conscious Music Festival in New Jersey called the Radiance Festival.
How long has it been up?
Honestly, not that long. So
Really?
We just had the one you came to in August was the third one, but we've only been around for about a year and
Really?
change. Yeah. So we had 2 in the first year. And then last June was our first festival.
Oh, wow.
And then we had one again in October, so a few months later.
How did that come about? Like when you first started
Festival?
planning? Yeah.
So honestly, it was like the call was sent out and, me and Justin answered it, which is the other
Really?
co-founder. Mm-hmm.
And you guys just started planning it and seeing how.
Yeah, it happened super organically and just so from like a beautiful place. So me and him met through a conference, through an entrepreneurship conference, and then just became friends. And then he came to one of my workshops, one of my meditation workshops. And then we became friends. And one day we were hanging out at a friend's house and he was in the kitchen talking to someone and I was in the living room talking to someone. And we were both literally describing I was describing an outdoor fun event where it's like all about like meditation and consciousness. So I could bring all my friends together that are doing amazing things in their zone of genius. And he's a music producer and DJ and audio engineer. So he was in the kitchen talking about like, yeah, I've always like pictured like doing like having like a awesome place where like there's music, but it's also just like a vibe for like spirituality and things like that. And and then like later on in that night, our friend like host that we were hanging out at hosted like a meditation, and then we did a share after, and like we literally were describing the same thing when we were doing the share. So we just looked at each other and we're just like, so I guess we're doing this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like literally set a date and moved forward and just did it.
So when you set the date, did you have anything pre-planned already, or you just like
values? I always start every company or any project I do with what are our values? So no matter what, we know we're not going to waver from these three, and no matter what action or decision we come up against, if it doesn't meet these three, then it's a no. So we came up with our three values are self-expression, deep connection, and transformation.
Have you ever planned an event before like that?
Oh yeah. So that's how we met, was through because like even leading up to the studio, leading up to the festival, I've always done meditation workshops, classes, and events. So yeah, we met through events.
So your first meditation workshop, how did you feel when you first started?
Oh, I was so nervous.
Yeah?
I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was so nervous.
Can you describe it? Like how did it go?
I definitely have it filmed somewhere, but like
so perfect.
I was definitely in my head, and don't be in your head when you're going to talk, be in your heart. Oh my God, I was so in my head. I was like, oh, these are the things I want to say. It ended up being a great event, but like I've definitely grown. Definitely.
What advice would you give yourself if you were to do?
I would probably just tell myself, you got this. Like, and like just be present and in your heart. And that's like a secret for anybody anytime they're speaking, is like you can rehearse, you can have your bullet points, you can have everything that you want to say, but you will never be able to predict the now moment when you're actually up there. And that's the beauty. Like someone's gonna crack a joke, or someone's gonna do, you know what I mean? And it's just gonna be in the now, and you're just naturally gonna know how to be. We know how to talk. You know, we know, and just be in your heart and feel the energy of the room, and you'll go far.
I feel like with the public speaking part, when you're in front of a crowd, I feel like people overthink it because they make it seem like, oh damn, I've never. It's almost like they've never talked before.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Because they lump everyone together and you just see like a blob or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always felt because when I was younger, I never wanted to public speak in classrooms,
right?
Like, you know, when they make you read whatever project you have,
torture.
So I always took the 0 for that. I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
And now you have a podcast, so.
It was it's still one-on-ones though. No, but I feel like what changed was this one high school project I had, and it was, I guess, because I had a choice on like what to talk about, and when you talk about what you know and what you truly believe in, that's when it comes like natural, you know.
Bingo.
And then I just have like a conversation with the audience, not really like a huge, I don't know, like I'm not
right, like a preacher on top of the stage.
Yeah, like I'm not a preacher.
I have the answers. It's like, it's just being with the people. Yeah.
And I feel like that's when everything got easier. I still get nervous, of course. Like if I was to go in a crowd of like 1,000, 2,000 people or something, I don't know how I'd feel.
Yeah.
Like how you said, you don't predict it.
Yeah. And it could also just be excitement too. Like speaking of perspective shift, it's like, is it nerves or are you just excited?
Yeah, exactly. So when you plan your events, I just want to know, like, there's a certain message you want to portray, right? And if you want to kind of lump it all together, what is that overall message that you want to portray again?
Unity.
Unity?
Unity with other human beings, unity with our planet, unity with the animal kingdom, unity. Like there is just one consciousness and we're all a part of it, and there's no separation.
How do you plan on doing that again? You already have a few things set in motion. What are kind of like your future?
Yeah, I think if the festival is a huge catalyst for this.
The festival was really nice.
Thanks.
I've never been to something like that. And Voy mentioned it. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go. And Gary Mountain's really close to like where I live. So I ended up going with my brother, and it was enjoyable. It was it was a full vibe. I was actually really because when we got there, everyone was like in a circle kind of thing.
Oh, you got there during the meditation. Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow. I was like, this is crazy.
Totally. So I think it's I think we all instinctually know this, And I think it's all part of our human nature. It's our natural state. You know, we just grew a society and now we have to change it up. And I think we all know that at this point, and you know, and I think more and more people are willing to, and then just learning the how do I meditate? How do I have more empathy and compassion? How do I change my mindset? So I think the studio is going to help people a lot with that, and also give people the permission to be themselves and give people the permission to be compassionate, to connect, and to shine. I think so many people are afraid to shine, and like the best thing you could do for this planet and for consciousness and for the collective is be yourself and be happy. What makes you happy? Do that, please. I'm begging you. It'll help us all.
Like, hopefully. Oh wow! So when do you remember the first time you meditated?
Yes, I do.
How'd that happen?
Holy smokes! So trippy.
Really?
Yeah. So I studied under Emily Fletcher, and I learned transcendental meditation. Was the first meditation I was introduced to.
What does that mean?
It's a meditation method. It's very popular. It's very popular amongst the celebrities, actually. So like Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, who's that one famous dude? Hugh Jackman. Like, yeah, they all. It's a very popular one. It's also very expensive to learn.
Is there a particular reason why?
It works. It works, and you do it twice a day, every day. And the first time I did it, I entered the void. I entered another dimension. Totally.
How would you describe that?
Empty.
Really?
Peaceful. And as soon as I was there, and I was like, wow, this is so nice. I don't want this to leave. I fell out of it.
Why do you think that?
I think because it was this ego of I want this. This is really good, and so you just slip out.
Slip out. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And how do you I guess describe the process to get into that state?
Okay, so I can't describe the process because it's like a whole thing. But what I'll tell you is some of the like
the gist of it.
Some of the understanding of why what the heck is a void. We think we live in a time space reality, and we don't. We live in a quantum dimensional reality. So what that really means is that there's infinite possibilities, and we're basically we are
whoops,
timer's up, gotta go. Sorry guys, catch us next time in this time space reality.
Let me just reset. Sorry about that, guys.
Where do I pick that up from? That was I was in it. Okay.
So the process.
So yes. So we think we live in a time space reality when we don't. We live in a quantum dimension reality. And so what that actually means is that we could tap into the infinite. So what I was going to compare us to it's kind of like we're living in the internet.
That makes sense.
And we are a result for a search engine. So there is this infinite web, this infinite internet web that we're living in. And once we can tap into what I'm talking about, tap into this field, this frequency, we enter a different layer of consciousness that can almost overlook us and see all those search engines results. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does, because I mean, the internet's infinite. It's infinite connection, infinite knowledge, infinite there's not really a physical place for it. You don't know how it looks like.
Yeah.
You just know it's there.
We're mostly nothing.
Yeah.
So that means something to me.
Yeah.
We're water and we're a little bit of matter, but mostly nothing.
And it's just combination kind of made us
each,
into this.
I guess it's each I forget what it is. Not cell, but each
atom.
Atom, thank you. Atom. It's mostly nothing. So that's whoa, that's huge to think about.
And I feel people get so lost into there's a whole being woke kind of thing.
Right.
But I feel people get confused with it because they feel there's a bigger picture, the universe and everything like that. It's yeah, that's true, but you just focus on what's around you, you have to focus on your loved ones, on people around here. And people get confused with that thought, saying that, physical things don't matter, all this doesn't matter, the world doesn't matter like that because we're nothing. But I'm just that's
funny because the word matter is even in that sentence. Does it matter? But it is matter.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can't think of it that way. You gotta,
Yeah.
you're still living in a physical world. Like, yeah, you are
I think
spiritual.
like to your point, what I see is that people almost get hung up, and I was like this, people get hung up on our humanness
Yeah.
and almost wishing that, not maybe wishing, but like on an unconscious level, like wishing like, oh, like I just want to be in the infinite and I just want to be like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's such a blessing to be a human and be a physical body and like be able to touch and move and have this physical reality. Like it's awesome. And we can create it from the non-physical, which is our thought. Like everything's created twice. First you think about it,
And
then you create it.
In the matter world.
Yeah. So I think it's great. It's all wonderful.
After you did the meditation, how did you feel afterwards?
Bugged out. Like, what was that? Where did I just go? And then it was very surreal for me. And then and then after that, just being able to tap into that place, tap into this like infinite light, this place where it's just like heaven,
Oh wow.
And
You do that.
it's amazing.
You do that how often?
I don't always get there, I don't. And I don't even really do transcendental meditation anymore because the practice just wasn't working for me anymore. And, you change things up. But yeah, so it's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, because it's not something like you turn the faucet on and the water comes out. Sometimes you get there,
it's like-
sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've never actually sat and attempted to meditate, in all honesty. Because I don't know. I feel when I used to skateboard a lot, so that was like my past thing, and we would go through full days, so morning sunrise to late sunset,
Right.
and just skate around the whole city, like New York or Hoboken,
Cool.
everywhere. And this was when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So throughout, when there's in the middle of it, if I get really tired, I literally just like sit and I just don't think about anything. I just kind of like. I just sit and like let my mind rest because I feel like I can't think of a new trick to do, or like I can't move or something. I'm just too tired, and I'm awake throughout the full process. Like I'm aware of what's going on around me, but I'm just almost like shut down in a way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was my form of meditation when I
Yeah.
was like there, because nothing happened.
Yeah, you like
in my mind.
surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
it's totally meditative. Absolutely.
Oh wow. So what else do you do now? Like as far as, I actually want to get into your morning routines.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What do you do as a morning routine?
Wake up.
Is there anything specific though? Like something you do every day?
It definitely like sometimes the intention changes whatever it is that I'm going through. And right now it's self-love and really being in a relationship with myself. So this sounds corny, but I hold my hand in the morning.
Wait, how? Like,
Yeah, you just like as if you're like praying. Like I hold my hand,
Oh,
but it's
okay,
like
okay.
intentional. Like I'm holding my hand because I really want to have a relationship with myself. And that sounds so weird and so
it's
corny.
It's not.
And it is so weird and it is so corny, but like it makes me feel good,
As long as it makes you feel good, honestly.
Yeah, it's reason enough for me. And then morning routine. Okay, so I think it's really important to have movement, especially dance. So for me, it's dancing, and especially, I think this is valid for everybody, but especially women, is dancing because we have a larger capacity for emotions, and we just tend to be a little bit more empathic and empathetic and take other people's emotions with us. We're just more emotional, and we store that in our bodies unconsciously. So through dance and through movement,
It's just
you can
like-
release it, and it's not like you're not even thinking about it. You're just dancing, having fun, and you are releasing things. So dancing for me is key. I think movement is medicine and getting your heart rate up. And like I mentioned before, our bodies, we can drug ourselves through our bodies. We could give ourselves dopamine and serotonin. That's huge. We should take advantage of
Yeah,
that.
that's crazy too. Like it's just, you can drug your body.
Totally. And
Literally.
I don't always do like full body workouts, but
Yeah.
I'll do like burpees, some crunches, and dancing, and that just lights me up.
As long as your heart's pumping.
Yeah.
I feel like you just, that's all it is. The blood flow, everything's moving.
Totally.
It's like an engine. you
Yeah.
know?
Then I meditate. So I meditate and
How long?
Ideally 20 minutes.
Ideally, okay.
Yeah. and then I take a shower. And then even in my shower, like I'm super intentional. And like throughout my morning routine, like there's things that I think people get hung up on, like, oh, morning routine, or like, oh, like self-love, like what is that? What do I got to do? And it's just like, do the things you always do with the intention of loving yourself, or with the intention, whatever intention you're holding. So like you always shower, you always brush your teeth, you always do your hair, you always do your makeup, you always put on essential oils, you always dress yourself like with whatever outfit you want to wear for that day. And instead of just going through it mindlessly, go through it mindfully. So for me, it's like I'm doing my hair because I love me. I'm doing my makeup because I love me. I'm choosing this outfit because I like it and I love me. I'm putting on this essential oil because I love me. And not making it anything other than that. That is a ritual that you can start doing that you already do, but you're you're adding that intention, and it changes the game.
That's very true. Because it's common. Everyone has a routine, whether they know it or not.
Totally.
And just being conscious of that routine changes everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's different. So, do you ever change it up, or has it always been like that?
Yeah, I change it up all the time. I'm an air sign, so like it's.
You have to constantly move.
I really like I like uncertainty. I like adventure. I like things different. Mm-hmm. So, I like, especially now that the weather is nice where we live, like I like being outside. I'll do yoga outside. I try to get outside as much as I can too.
What's like your favorite season in general?
It used to be fall. Now it's totally summer. I just love the heat. I love the heat. Like fall is super dope. Fall, like I like the vibe of fall. Like vibe of fall with the weather of summer would be the most ideal for me.
Yeah, the fall vibe it's like, I don't know, it's just cool. All the leaves,
something like about it. Colors, yeah, different colors. It's like cozy, and then you have like your pumpkins. Halloween is so cool. Like it's just a cool vibe,
Yeah.
But like I like the heat. I like being really warm.
Who would you say is one of your biggest influences?
Oh, I really love Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Marianne Williamson.
And why?
Wayne Dyer. Because they really infuse science and spirituality, which I love. Because I think our human logical mind needs to understand. We really do. And once we can understand like the quote unquote science, we can tap into our spirit more, because we finally settle our mind with all the questions and doubts.
Yeah, like justifying and everything.
Yeah. Because like as much as I love just having faith and believing, there's a part, I'm human, like I like to know the why, how, why, so they all touch on that, especially Greg Braden.
And you try to do that whenever you teach people?
Yeah, I really do, because doing this for almost 5 years now, like we need that. People need that. People need to know the facts as to like, why are there benefits? Why should I do this? What's happening to my brain? What do you mean consciousness? Like explaining all of that really helps people. And then they can finally tap into their heart, where it's like all the magic happens.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Because people naturally, they just doubt.
Yeah.
And
human nature.
Yeah. And that's normal. And just explaining that, you're just like, oh. Like, okay, now I'm going to surrender to it.
Especially where we live, I think. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's just my own background and bringing, but it's just like, to me, I like kind of grew up with this idea. It's like, everything's a scam, or it's too good to be true, or, you know what I mean?
Read around here, right? Like so here is Montclair, Bloomfield area.
I grew up in Belleville. My dad's Italian, so like, to him, like everything's a scam.
It makes sense though. No, I mean, we live in a weird area though, because this is like still an extension of like New York in a way.
Yeah.
And I forget that the rest of Jersey is very rural. And
yeah, you're right. We do live in a specific area of New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made that distinction.
And it's like northeast, and then below New Jersey of that west of that east coast still is just beach.
Yeah,
and then
it's so different.
Past that is just rural. And every time I go past like a certain city, I'm just like, is this New Jersey? Like I'm just like, this is strange.
Yeah, you're so right.
And
so we're like the last borough of New York.
Yeah, literally. Like, and it's becoming so populated now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's such a small state. But all right, who would you want to actually work with? Like, who would you want to collaborate with? Who would you want to do projects with?
The first person that comes to mind actually is Sahara Rose on Instagram. Like all the people I mentioned, of course. Like, obviously, I would love to work with them. but I'm gonna say Sahara Rose because I think I will work with her soon. And I really love her, and I just want to give her a shout out because I didn't mention her before because she's really awesome, and she's
What would you want to do? Like, do you have
a
rough
goddess circle, like a women's circle with her. Yeah, she's starting something called the Goddess Challenge, and I just really like her energy and her vibe. And I think especially here, there's a lot of sister wounds. I like call them in like that's what we call them in the industry, but like just like
What is a sister wound?
really it's just like women like just growing women relationships. Like there's a really importance of having like female relationships, and I know I've had tons of falling out with friends, and there's like this culture where kind of women, you know, I think we're craving to have each other as friends again, and I could go into a whole rant about that, but I won't.
No.
I think, okay, here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think that because we've lived in a society where men have more seats at the table, and there's only one seat at the table for women, usually, like, or
Naturally,
less, you know,
into society.
instead of women being like, until recently, instead of women being like, let's all fight so there's more tables, we all fought each other for that one seat. And it happened in work, it happened in relationships, like with men. Like there's a lot of just cattiness that happens, or like we get jealous of other women, like, oh my god, she looks good, what does that mean about me? Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like there's these insecurities that are underlying, and I think it's unconscious, and I think it happened to us because we were so much trying to be equals, and so we actually turned against each other a little bit.
That's an interesting thought. I feel like that makes sense though, because you're right. It's always been limited for women, and it wasn't until recently when it's just started.
Yeah, and I think women think we have to have it all together, and instead of being like, girl, I don't know.
Like, chill.
How are you doing this? Because I'm fucking not, you know? We all just try to act like we have it together, and it's hurting us. And I think it's like time for us to all come together and be like, what are your secrets? Okay, this is what I do. Like, well, how do you deal with this? Oh, this is what I've done. Or like, I don't know. Let's figure this out together.
How would you, I guess, because this is mostly like, I usually try to go into the creative mind of people, you know?
Oh, cool.
So how would you describe yourself as a creative, and like, how do you implement that?
I love creativity. I think creativity is such a vital, I don't even know if to call it a value. It's really a verb. And I think it's just like, it's such a beautiful thing as humans that we can be creators and we can be creative, and that's life. That's the life force.
It so is.
My creativity really comes through events and gathering people. Like I love to set a vibe. I love to make people feel at home. I love to have like delicious food, and like for the place to smell good, and for you to feel welcomed, and for you to feel like, you know, like dope. Like this is what I've been searching for, and for there to be like an agenda, but like even that word doesn't fit right, you know? Like more of just like a flow that's just like, oh, like we're doing this now, and we're gonna meditate, like, and now we're dancing, and now we're sharing, and like that to me, like I have a natural instinct of how events work and how I want people to feel and what I want them to leave with, and I'm just really good at creating that space.
Have you always considered yourself as a creative?
No, I think I embraced it more as I gotten older.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you ever think you weren't at a certain point?
That I wasn't?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think of the word artist,
Mm-hmm.
and when you think of artist, you think of someone who paints. I live with an artist. She literally paints, you know.
Oh, nice.
She's incredible. So you think of that when you hear of creativity, or you think of artists, and really like we're all artists in different ways, you know. We're all artists. So I embrace that now and don't take it as literal as like someone who actually paints or draws, but an artist of events, an artist like there's all different
art.
kinds.
It's all art.
Even business is art, you know.
However, like especially like business owners, like however, you know, you're sometimes you're limited in resources, and you have to figure out a way how to actually maneuver and get what you want based on that. So
totally be creative about it.
And I've never considered myself as a creative, actually. It wasn't more until like recently that I did, and it was because of that reason, because I wasn't into like the arts, music, and stuff like that. But I figured that, you know, naturally people are just creative. You have to be.
Yeah.
in order to maneuver around.
Yeah. I agree.
That's nice. That's very interesting. All right, I want to get into, have you ever had like, so this podcast is called Creator's Block, and there's a reason why it was called Creator's Block. I had an actual creative block. So I want to know, have you ever had like a creative block when trying to implement, like either whether it's a festival or when it comes to kind of like talking to a crowd or something? Like, have you ever gotten like stuck on how to portray your message?
Sometimes I still get stuck because I live in this world where it's definitely become more mainstream. And when I started 4 or 5 years ago, it wasn't as mainstream as it is today. So it was tougher when I started out. And I give so much homage to the people that were even before me who trailblazed this. But I still get stuck. And I still, just recently got a testimonial from a past client of mine. And in it, she said some amazing, beautiful things about me. You're the best coach. I'm so grateful for you. You changed my life. Da da da. And then she's like, when I was looking for someone, I wanted someone NLP certified. I wanted someone spiritual, and I wanted someone woo woo.
Woo woo.
And I was like, and one of my advisors was like, woo woo, is that how you want your brand to be portrayed? That's where there's this creative block. And I got a video idea that I want to create about the word woo woo. And I think that's where I get blocked, because I really want people to understand that I know science. I know what's going in your mind. I know the brain waves that are happening to you when you're meditating. I understand your subconscious mind. I get how it works. I understand the science.
And you want people to realize
I understand the quantum field. I understand all of that. And I think sometimes my branding comes off as like this really fun, light, airy girl who likes to meditate and is into woo-woo things.
Yeah.
That to me, they're not woo-woo, because there's so much freaking science that backs it up. So that sometimes gets me blocked, where I want really people to, I guess in a sense, take me seriously, but like my personality is light and fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to like all of a sudden be like, but like I can, you know what I mean? And that's like my new thing, is like really stepping into, so people understand the full capacity of me and my work, versus just the surface layer of like a girl who like threw a festival and was like really fun and light. Like, no, like I will mind hack you and you will be a whole entire new person. Not even a new person, who you actually are.
Because
drop all of the lies, all of the delusions about yourself that's holding you back, and finally shine and walk out of here after our session together with your DNA changed. Like, I promise you, you will be a different person. You will not be afraid to shine. You won't be afraid to speak on stages. You will not be you won't be lonely. You won't be sad. You won't be depressed. You'll actually be all the truth of what you are, which is like joy, radiant, capable, passionate, and badass.
That's so beautiful. Have you ever had like a client that you, or like just anybody that has come up to you, like how you said the testimonial, have you ever seen like a significant change from one person specifically? Like, has
yes.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is confidential. I'll share one story with you, which will always stay with me. A lot of people have changed. They've moved to the city they always wanted to. They, got over the mental plague of a divorce, or they've finally became a coach themselves. But one story which will always, like, I get like teary-eyed just thinking about it, is this woman who I wasn't even fully coaching her. I just led her through a meditation at a mastermind I was a part of, and she had the biggest revelation. And she wrote me and she was like, the day of the mastermind was the anniversary of my son's death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he died from gun violence. And she said she always felt like it was partially her fault, because that day the whole family had planned to take family portraits and do like, have a photographer and all the things. And for some reason she changed the time and the day. Because I think her husband wasn't feeling well. So they changed the time and the day. And so that night, instead of being with the family, her son went out, and, through gang violence, he was, he was shot and killed. And so that stayed with her. And she always felt like so guilty about that. And through the meditation, it being that anniversary, obviously that came up.
Yeah.
And she said that through the meditation, she finally got to feel her son again. And he said, I'm okay, Mom. Like, please just go after your dreams.
That's like, that gives me chills whenever I hear things like that.
Yeah. So like, that is like, you know, and I know it's not even like, I don't even take credit for that. Like I'm just a vessel, and like, that's truly like something way beyond us. But like, that is what I do.
It's those stories, honestly. Like those stories are so precious. And I love hearing that, because some people need to say it out loud, but other people don't want to listen. Yeah. So some people just want to talk about it, you know?
Facts.
And if you just get it off your chest, it's like, you know, it feels so good.
Totally.
When I used to work in retail, like there'd be a lot of just like old elderly customers, right? And I don't know why people find it difficult to like listen to like stories, but she just wanted to state like her life, and she started crying in front of me. No. And I'm just like, no, it's okay. Like, she's just like, I'm sorry. Like, I know you have to do something. You probably don't want to be here. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm just like, it's okay. Oh, wow. Like, if you need to get it off your chest, like, say it, you know? Wow. Like, you got to express yourself somehow.
Aw. You were an angel for her.
Yeah. And like, obviously, like how you said, like, I don't want to take credit for it. Like, it's just like, I happen to be in the right place at the right time. But like, it's just nice that I know I have that story with me, because it stays with me, you know, too. Like, things like that, like, they stay with you. They impact you. I still like, I don't really remember her like as like a face or something like that. Like, I don't remember how exactly she looks like, because this was years ago. Right. But I remember the feeling, you know. Yeah. And that's what really matters, you know.
It's beautiful.
Let me take a quick pause.
Okay.
Before you get into like a crazier thought.
You know my style now.
All right. So before, you mentioned that there's a science behind what you do. Right. I know there's a lot to it, but I guess let's just pick meditation. Okay. Why is it good for you, like scientifically?
Okay, so scientifically, why it's good for you is because meditation is a stress relieving tool. And when we are stressed, there's more people that go to the doctors now, and the doctor says you're just stressed out. There's so many diseases because you're at dis-ease. You're not at ease. And stress makes us sick. Obviously, our immune system goes down when we're stressed out. Our just like our will to be part of a community goes down. We don't sleep very well. Our sex drives goes down. Our creativity goes down. Our productivity goes down. Our focus goes down. Like, all of these things impact us. And for me, the biggest thing is like really like obviously your overall health, but like the biggest science thing is like your physical health. And so when you learn to meditate, because you're releasing stress, and stress is leaving your body through your nervous system, because you're actually giving your mind and your body a chance to kind of like, I guess you could say, recalibrate and detoxify the stress out, that it actually, because the stress is leaving you, now you are more focused, more productive.
Your body's functioning
your immune system goes up. Yeah, it's just science. And then like on like a brainwave state, you enter a level of consciousness, a level of your brainwave state, where you are less, when I was talking about the void, you know, you enter that level of consciousness, you enter that level of brainwaves that allows you to realize that the shit you're stressing about doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
It like eliminates all like
and it's like this sweet spot where you could start to influence your mind and rewire your brain, which is a lot of the work that I do. So you're entering that theta state, the same theta state that you were in when you were 7. You're entering that. And it's like, you know, we do this all the time because we go to sleep every night. We're entering different levels of brainwaves and different levels of consciousness. And you know, when like you're in that sweet spot of like, you're really tired and you're like sleeping, but you're not but you're also awake. Like that right there, that's like the point where we go when we're in a meditation, and that's the point when we're most influential to our own selves. So whatever thoughts you have before you go to sleep, and whatever thoughts you have when you first wake up are so important. That's why sometimes you have weird dreams. If like you just saw your ex on Instagram and then you go to sleep and then you had a weird dream with her, and it's just because because you just programmed it in that sweet prime pocket of your brainwave.
And now you remember it.
Now you remember it,
influencing whatever you're doing that day.
Yeah,
like either puts you in a good mood or puts you in a bad mood. So it's just like
exactly.
It's like breathing techniques. Like people like don't give breathing techniques enough credit. I mean, that's literally putting more oxygen into your system, so it's just naturally it's going to be better for you, you know.
Yeah,
like, there's a reason why people train on the mountains to kind of like stress their oxygen levels and stuff, and when they're actually performing like on regular sea level,
yeah,
they're performing at a superior level.
Yeah,
so just things like that. It's just
such a good example.
It just makes sense. I feel like it makes sense.
It does.
So as far as like the last thing I want to talk about, what advice would you give to people getting into like first starting meditation, first getting into like their spirituality state? Because there's a lot of people that want to get into it, they probably don't know how.
Come to Montclair Zen Studio. That's my piece of advice. Are you in New Jersey? Come to Montclair Zen Studio. Legit, like that is like the answer. You need a teacher. You need someone to guide you. You could do it on YouTube. You could try to do it on your own. Chances are you're not going to know how to, and you're going to fail. You feel like you're a failure. You're not going to do it anymore. I make it very easy for you to do it. I'm chill. It's
like learning anything. Like I feel like this, like meditation and like learning how to like access your mind like that. It's almost like sports.
I think there's a lot of meditation out there, teachings and things that talk about how you need to clear your mind in order to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need to clear your mind in order to meditate. This is why my meditation teaching and style is very different, because you're actively thinking the entire time with me, just tapping into your imagination. That is so important. I think there's this thing where it's just like, just listen to your breath and be mindful of your breath and breathe in and breathe out. That is the hardest way to start a meditation. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why that's like the intro. Yeah. That is expert level. To give that to someone who's just starting out, no wonder everyone feels like they're failing. It's basically like
themselves about overthinking.
Yeah, it's like you're basically telling someone to like sit down and think your thoughts, because no one is thinking about their breath. And of course they're going to fail. So I think that's like my biggest like key lesson for everyone is that you don't have to clear your mind in order to meditate. You're going to have thoughts. It's okay. Find a meditation that works for you. There's so many different ones out there. The best one to begin with is tapping into your heart, being grateful, just like seeing like whatever you're grateful for, like seeing it and feeling it and tapping into your heart is the best meditation to do when you're starting out. And legitimately, like, follow me on Instagram so I can help you more.
I've been seeing your posts and they are helpful. Like when you post your stories, I like listening to them.
Thank you.
I feel like it's valuable, and you do break it down when it comes to that. And just knowing knowing the science behind it. Just knowing the science behind it, like it's nice.
Yeah.
And you have a positive attitude. Like I could tell. Like you're very outgoing. Have you always been like that?
No, I used to be depressed as shit.
I was gonna ask because you used to listen to all those like emo music and stuff.
Yeah. So sad.
Wait, how did you change that then?
There's a reason why I got into this. I think when you don't listen to your soul's calling and you don't listen to yourself, you will be depressed because you're pressing yourself down. That's what I think. And I think it's a choice, and I think it's easy for me to get back into that state of sadness and depression and feeling like, oh, no one gets me, and like it's really easy for me to get there. And I have to choose again. I have to choose to like go outside and go for a walk, or like, you know, if I notice that I'm moody, like I have to change my state. I have to dance. I have to go outside. I have to do something to literally shake me out of it. Do
you remember the first time, the first time you actually started feeling a lot more grateful when it comes to like getting into everything like this?
I think it's interesting because like even like as humans, like throughout the day, your mood can change so fast, like
Yeah.
in an instant, you know? And I think that's a beautiful thing to remember, is that you might be sad or feel lonely right now, but in an instant you can change.
Yeah, you can. Super interesting how that works, right?
Yeah. So cool.
You're like, I used to be depressed as shit. But Monica, I
Elvis?
appreciate you. Let everyone know where to follow you.
Okay, so my Instagram handle, which is the best and most fun way to follow both of you, like whoever's listening to this, I want to follow you. I want to hear your stories and connect and answer your questions and just be friends. So my Instagram handle is at It's Monica Adams. ITSMONICAADAMS. It's Monica Adams. And yeah, follow me there.
You have
And then
Twitter?
you could follow. I don't have Twitter.
You should make Twitter.
Should I?
Might as well.
I think I do have a Twitter. I just like it's
From, like,
probably
2010 and
yeah. Who
stuff.
knows what's up there? Bunch of emo music videos. Who knows what's up there?
Your
No.
MySpace. Tell everyone your MySpace.
And if you are interested in joining the studio, it's super affordable. It's super fun. It's super millennial. It's not this corporate wellness like hoo-ha. It's like approachable. So that's MontclairZenStudio.com.
What's the address for the Montclair?
It's 377 Bloomfield Ave in Montclair. It's right across the street from the Wellmont Theater.
It's such a nice area too.
Thank you.
So it's like a perfect location for it to
I'm
have.
seriously so thrilled. And like this is a dream come true, and it's going to be the seed for everyone's dreams to come true, because I'm just going to teach you how to manifest your dreams. So I'm so excited.
I see big things for it. Like especially the
you.
area, the way it's set up.
It's going to be wildly successful, and I want everyone to be a part of that success, because it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, 'cause-
it's going to light up the world.
Do you have YouTube? Anything?
No, I need your help. Maybe we could talk about that
Yeah, we'll
afterwards.
talk
I
about
need
that.
some help with my videos, because I have so many ideas that need to exist.
So Monica,
Elvis, thank
you
you.
so much.
This is so much fun.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, listeners. I hope this was valuable.
It was. I really got to re-listen to it again just to even process everything, because I feel like I'm still processing like everything that was talked about.
Yeah.
But this is Elvis, aka Elvis Likes Photos. Same thing on everything. Except Twitter. For some reason, Twitter doesn't fit the extra S in photos, so it's just photo. I
Okay.
don't know why. But thank you guys for listening. Monica, you're awesome.
You're awesome.
Thank you again.
Ciao.
How do you feel?
This is so cool. I really like having a microphone like this.
They bother me, but
Right.
because I feel like it's normal for me to carry tissues around at this point.
Yeah.
And then people look at me, they're like, why do you always carry tissues? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is normal, right? Like, this is normal, isn't it?
You're like a mom. Tissues and gum, like mom always has, and coupons to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh my god.
That's like what moms actually always
my
have.
bag is full of coupons from Bed Bath.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a mom.
I have it in my car, actually.
Oh, is you are a mom?
Well, that's